All right, Daniel Ikenson is the Associate Director of the Cato Institute, and he wants to talk about this GM IPO as well. Daniel, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so let's talk about this whole idea of the taxpayer not being made completely whole here. Are we doing the wrong thing? Are we handling this incorrectly? Should we have been involved in GM to begin with?
The answer to that last question is no. And I think that we are a bit myopic in our discussion of whether this made sense to bail GM out by just focusing on whether the taxpayer is being made whole. I don't think the taxpayer will ultimately ever be made whole in this, but that's just the explicit costs of the intervention. There are much deeper implicit costs. And I think Exhibit 1 is the state of the economy. There is such a state of uncertainty among businesses who have cash sitting on the sidelines, who don't want to invest and don't want to hire. And I think that that is a direct result of the interventions we've seen, this regime uncertainty. So I think we need to consider those to be among the costs of the intervention. And it's not just that. It's also the spoils of competition were denied to really the victors. The market process is an evolutionary one, and the companies that make the better decisions are the ones who should persist and get the bigger share of the pie, the bigger market share, the more sales, so that they have more profits to invest in R&D. But Ford and Honda and Toyota, who should be leading the industry, were deprived of that. And other institutions, I think, were trampled in this process. So let's not say this was a success even if taxpayers are made whole, because, hey, why not have another bailout?
I think your view is that it fundamentally changes the marketplace when something like this happens. You have a government bailout. One of the issues that I'm very concerned about, Daniel, is that, you know, conservatives say if you give individuals government subsidies for whatever reason, that they get hooked on that. Well, guess what? Corporate America can get hooked on public dollars too. And that's my concern, not just in the car industry, but in the green technology industry. We are weaning a whole generation of American companies who are looking for a government handout.
I think you're absolutely right. Once this process begins, I mean, witness what has happened in Washington. The lobbying industry is just burgeoning. Businesses that have productive endeavors to pursue have decided to divert resources from those productive endeavors to political endeavors, to make sure the administration and Congress knows how important they are to the local job scene, to make sure policy is affected in a manner that's consistent with what they want to secure. Yes, we've opened a can of worms with this, and politicians are going around asking questions about why the economy is growing at such an anemic pace. Because there is this regime uncertainty, and I think that the GM bailout and the premise that had we not, the government not held their hand through bankruptcy, they would have liquidated, I don't necessarily buy that premise, nor do I buy the premise that there would have been 1 million or 2 million job losses. Others would have come in and purchased some of these assets, and the auto industry is just fine.
You know, the unions made a lot of money on this, will make a lot of money on this deal. That's one of the uncovered stories in all of this. Sad to hear the lobbying industry is doing so well, Daniel. Thanks for your help today. We really appreciate it. You must come back.
My pleasure. Thank you.